MCC is one of the newest companies to release officially licensed Plants vs. Zombies plushes. And today we're going to be talking about their first set that was originally released in 2017. So with that said, welcome to a look at the MCC Plants vs. Zombies Set 1 plush set. Let's start out with the first plush of the set, which is the Pea Shooter. Now this Pea Shooter plush uses a very similar design to the original World Max one, which seems to be a trend with the original MCC plushes as well. They look a lot like the original World Max ones. The reason for that is probably because PopCap gave them the exact same patterns and looks to make their plushes look like and only made them slightly different. But yeah, there's two sizes of this feature, being the small size and the large size, and both sizes are basically the exact same except for how big they are. The leaf base is overall pretty good and it looks pretty accurate to how it looks in the game. The stem's also really nicely stuffed so it can't really get floppy over the years and fall over. The head's also really nicely shaped and the embroidery on the eyes is overall really good. It also has a leaf on the back of the head which looks pretty accurate to the game. And well, the pea in the mouth actually comes out as well, but it's attached to the string inside of it. So yeah, it's overall a pretty cool thing, except the string could get damaged because it's only made out of elastic, so it could get very easily get cut and also get ripped out of the mouth. But yeah, overall, both sides of this plush are overall really good and they look pretty accurate to the game. And well, both of these sizes are overall extremely rare, especially small size, so if you want this plush, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but it'll be pretty hard to find. And now let's move on to the next plush of the set, which is the Sunflower. Now the Sunflower plush basically looks identical to the original World Max one. And well, the only thing that's really changed about it is that the leaf base is slightly different as it's in a more different style. But besides that, this plush is basically the exact same as the World Max one, except the face isn't as vibrant. But yeah, the stem's overall pretty nicely stuffed so it can't really fall over, and the face is literally the exact same pattern as the World Max one, and well, it only uses a slightly darker color. Which in my opinion overall makes it look worse, as the petals are the exact same color as the face, so it doesn't really look that well. As the petals are supposed to be a lighter color than the face, so yeah, they could have done a better job with that, but besides that, the rest of the plush overall looks pretty good, but that's just because it's basically an exact copy of the original World Max one. And well, this plush is also extremely rare, so if you want it, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but there's basically no chance of you finding it because well, it's just so rare. And now moving on, we have the Sunshroom. Now just like the Sunflower, this is basically an exact copy of the World Max one. As well, the only thing that they really changed about it is that the pattern on the head is slightly different, also the eyes are slightly closer together, but besides that, the rest of the plush is basically an exact copy of it. And well, the head on this plush could actually get damaged over the years and kind of look weird because well, since it has a lot of stuffing on it, it could actually crush the face on it. But besides that, the rest of the plush overall looks pretty good, and well, it's basically an exact copy of the World Max one, so it makes sense why it looks good. But in my opinion, the World Max one still looks better just because, well, the eyes on the MCC one just look a little weird. And now moving on, we have the Fume Shroom. Now just like the Sunshroom, the only really change from the original World Max one is that the face is slightly different on this Fume Shroom. Now the only really change about this plush besides the face is, well, the spots on the head are a slightly different color, so yeah, besides that, the rest of the plush is basically the exact same. And well, just like the Sunshroom, I think the original Fume Shroom for World Max overall looks a lot better, as well the eyes on the MCC one just kinda looks weird. But yeah, if you want this plush, it's not too hard to find, so you'll probably be able to find it on eBay or Mercari pretty easily. And now moving on to the next plush, we have the Squash. Now this plush has a big and small size, and the small size actually looks identical to the original World Max small version. As well, it basically uses the exact same pattern as the World Max one, basically down to the stitch by the looks of it. As well, from looking at this one picture that we really have of it, as well, it's extremely rare plush, so we don't really have that many pictures to look at. But it seems that the only really change about it is that the eyebrows made out of plush material instead of just being stitched on, but besides that, the rest of the plush basically looks identical. You know, the big size also basically looks identical to the World Max one, except that the eyes are slightly different. As well, you can tell that the eyebrows are slightly different and making the eyes actually look a little angrier than the World Max one, but besides that, it's basically the exact same for the rest of the plush. You know, but I overall like this design of Squash as it gives it a lot of detail, and I like the extra lumps that they added on it to make it look more realistic to the game. But yeah, both of these plushes are basically an exact copy of the World Max ones, and well, if you want them, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but they're extremely rare and even harder to find than the World Max ones. And now let's move on to the next plush of this set, which is the Bloomerang. Now this one's once again basically an exact copy of the World Max one, except the eyes and the face are just kind of slightly different. The leaf base on this plush is overall pretty good, and it actually holds up really nicely over the years, so it'll probably be able to make the Bloomerang stand up pretty nicely. The body overall looks pretty good, except it should be a little lighter color as well. The leaf face is supposed to be pretty dark compared to it, but besides that, I think it's overall pretty good. The face seems to be a little thicker than the original as well, but seems that MCC used a bit of a thicker stitching than the original World Max plushes, but besides that, it basically looks the exact same. The actual boomerangs look pretty good and they're really nicely stuffed, so they can't really get unstuffed over the years, so they overall will keep their shape and look pretty nice. But overall, this is a pretty good boomerang plush, and there's also a bootleg of it. As well, for some reason, there's this weird bootleg of it where you could take off the boomerangs, and it makes it overall look really weird that the boomerang's just missing his boomerangs. And I honestly don't know why someone would buy this plush, because, well, it actually sells for over like $15 on eBay, so yeah, it's definitely a big waste of money. You definitely should not get it. As well, not only does it overall look really weird, the boomerangs also come off, and well, these bootleg plushes are very cheaply made. And well, if you want the original MCC boomerang plush, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but it's overall pretty rare. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Bong Choy. And this one's basically an exact copy of the World Max one, except for the face has slightly different stitching on it. And well, the arms on this plush, just like the original World Max version, could get overall very damaged and get unraveled over the years. As well, the metal inside of the arms could break over the years as well, but it was pretty cheaply made, so yeah, it could get damaged over time. But besides that, the rest of the plush overall is really good, and it has some nice detail on the top of the plush and makes it overall look really nice. Now, the face is really the only detail that's changed from the original World Max version, because the only really change on it is that there's slightly different stitching on it, and besides that, it's basically the exact same plush. But yeah, both the World Max version and the MCC version of the Bong Choy are extremely rare, so if you want to get them, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but you'll have a pretty small chance of actually getting them. Now moving on to the final plant plush in this set, we have the Coconut Cannon. Now this plush overall looks really good, and the fuse on the top of it overall looks really nice, except the fuse could get damaged because it's made out of a felt material. Now there's also a metal rod in the fuse, so it could get bent and damaged and break over the years, just like the Bong Choy's arms. And the eyes on the plush overall look really good, and they're nicely stitched on. The coconut could actually come out of the front of it as well, but it basically uses the exact same elastic string as the pea shooter. And there's also some really nice embroidery on the front of it to make it look a little extra detailed. And well, the only really other bad thing about this plush is that the coconuts don't actually touch the ground. As well, for whatever reason, MCC put them in a really weird spot, so when you have this plush standing up, that one part of the plush overall makes it look pretty weird, but besides that, the rest of the plush is overall really good. And well, if you want, this plush is overall pretty rare, but you can look on eBay or Mercari for it. Now the next plush in the set is the Conehead Zombie. Now the normal zombie's design is basically the exact same as the World Max one, except the face is slightly different. As well, the eyes are slightly further apart, and also they stick out of the head more than the original World Max ones did. The mouths are also slightly differently shaped, so yeah, it's very similar to World Max, but it's also a bit different, which I kind of like because it makes the MCC ones more unique than the other ones would be. You know, all the zombies in the set also don't have a tie like the original World Max ones do. Now, for the zombie itself is overall pretty good. There are a few details like the eyes and the teeth that could get damaged, but besides that, there's really no other details that could. The cone's overall really nicely shaped and is stitched onto the head, so it could fall off over the years if you don't take good care of it. But yeah, overall, just like the plants in it, it's very similar to the World Max Conehead Zombie. If you want, this plush is overall extremely hard to find, so if you want to find it, you can look on eBay or Mercari. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Buckethead Zombie. Now the Buckethead Zombie uses the exact same basic zombie design as the Conehead Zombie, except well, it has a bucket on it. And well, the bucket's overall very nicely made, as it's made out of this very firm material that can't really get bent or damaged that easily. And it's also really nicely stitched on, so unless if you purposely rip it off of the head, it'll overall hold up really well. And it also has some iron-on material on the bucket, but since it's on a pretty good material, it can't really get damaged that much. But yeah, besides that, the rest of the Buckethead Zombie is basically just the exact same as the Conehead Zombie, so the eyes and teeth could once again get damaged. You know, this one's about the exact same rarity as the Conehead Zombie. If you want, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but it'll be pretty hard to find. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Raw Zombie. Now the face on this plush is the exact same as the other zombies in the set, but the hat on it is overall very good. As well, besides the sides of it, is overall made out of some pretty good materials. The sides of the hat could get damaged though, because they're made out of a felt material, so it could collect debris and dust and also get bent. And the Raw Zombie's necklace that has a sun on it could also get damaged, because once again it's made out of a felt material and has iron on it. And it uses the exact same sun design for the rod, which once again could get damaged. So overall, there's a pretty good amount of details on this plush that could get damaged. And while sometimes when you see it on eBay or Mercari, you'll actually be missing some of the parts because a lot of parts on this plush could fall off and get damaged over the years, so it's pretty hard to find a mint condition version of this plush. But yeah, if they made the plush out of some better materials, it would overall be very good and also hold up really nicely. But if you want this plush, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but be careful because there could be missing parts on the plushes. And now let's move on to the next plush set, which is the pirate zombie. Now, the pirate zombie uses the exact same face as the other zombies in the set, except it has gold teeth on it and also has an earring on it. The earring's made out of a felt material, so once again, it could get damaged, but it can't really fall off because it's kind of like stitched onto the ear. And while the bandana that it's wearing is made out of the same material as the bucket on the Buckethead zombie, so it holds up pretty nicely over the ears and also has some very nice iron-on material on it. And while there's really no other details on this plush that could get damaged except for like the gold band around the arm. But besides that, basically all the clothes on this plush hold up really well over the years, and they're also made out of some really good materials like the scarf. As well, the scarf's nicely stitched onto the plush and it also looks really nice and game accurate and is not made out of any bad materials. So I think they definitely did a lot better job on this plush than the raw zombie because this one's just a little bit higher quality. And while this plush is also a bit more common than the others in the set, so if you want this plush you could look on eBay and Mercari and you do have a pretty high chance of finding it, as well there's been a few for sale recently. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the swashbuckler zombie. Now the swashbuckler zombie's face is the exact same as the pirate zombie, even with the earring and the gold teeth, so he has basically an exact copy of that plush for the face. And while the hat on this plush is overall very detailed and is basically extremely accurate, as it has no really inaccurate details on it. As well, not only is it made out of a really good material, around the same material as the bandana and the bucket on the other zombies, it also has some really nice iron-on material on it that has some extra detail to it. And it also has a beard on it, which is made out of a very fuzzy material, except the pieces of fuzz could fall off over the years. You know, the clothes on this plush are basically accurate down to every small detail. So yeah, this plush is overall extremely accurate and there's really no inaccuracies about it that I could find. So yeah, once again, MCC did a great job with this plush just like the others as well, but basically has no details that could get damaged besides the details on the face, and it was also extremely game accurate. And if you want this plush, it's around the same rarity as the pirate zombie. And now let's move on to the final plush in the set, which is the cowboy zombie. Now the cowboy zombie's face is the exact same as the other zombies in the set, so the eyes and teeth could get damaged. Now, the hat on this plush is overall very good. One thing that is really weird about it is that for some reason it's a bright red color when it's definitely not supposed to be like that. Which is one inaccuracy about this plush that I don't really understand, because well, they could have just made it a brown color instead and it would have looked a lot better. But besides that one detail, there's no really other inaccuracies about this plush. It has a bandana around its neck, which is made out of a silky material that could get damaged if you take it off of the plush, but it's definitely not supposed to be taken off of the plush, so if you just leave it there, it can't really get damaged. It has a bell on it with a little star, so yeah, that could also get damaged because it's made out of an iron-on material with felt. And all the clothes on the plush are overall really accurate, not as accurate as the other zombies as there's a few details that are missing, but still, it's overall a really nice plush. But yeah, if you want this plush, you look on eBay and Mercari, and it's around the same rarity as the other zombies. But yeah, which plush is your favorite? Comment that down below, and yeah, have a great day. MCC is one of the only officially licensed companies to still be actively making and releasing Plants vs. Zombies plushes. And today we're going to be looking at the second ever Plants vs. Zombies plush set that they made. So with that said, welcome to a look at the MCC Plants vs. Zombies Set 2 plush set. Now let's start off with the first plush in the set, which is the Sunflower. Now, unlike their last Sunflower plush that they made in their first set, this one's actually a unique design. As well, last time they made a Sunflower plush, they basically copied the design from World Max, but this time they actually made quite a unique design. And well, overall, I think it looks pretty good. The leaf base is very accurate and has all the correct details on it. The stem's also really nicely stuffed, so it can't really fall over the years unless if you purposely unstuff it. And well, the face is overall really accurate, and the petals around the head actually can't get damaged because, well, unlike most companies, they're not made out of like a really weak material. And well, the face is nicely embroidered on it. It looks overall pretty accurate to the game, even though it still looks pretty simple. And well, I think they did a good job with it, keeping it simple, because, well, it's a good thing that they kept it simple because, well, they couldn't really mess it up that much. And well, the face on the Sunflower plush is also a little lighter than most other Sunflower plushes made by officially licensed companies. And well, overall, MCC did a pretty good job making this Sunflower plush as well, but it overall looks pretty good. And if you want, this plush is overall very common, so you could look on websites like eBay and Mercari and find it pretty easily. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the walnut. Now, unlike most walnut plushes that are usually just circles with eyes on them, this one actually has a lot more detail to it. As well, instead of just embroidering on the eyes, they actually made the eyes a whole separate piece of plush material and actually stitched it onto the face, which makes it actually look a lot more unique. And I actually really like this design of the walnut plush because it makes it look more 3D and it overall looks really good compared to other officially licensed walnut plushes. And the rest of the face besides the eyes also look really good as well. They did a good job embroidering basically every single detail on it. And honestly, for how simple of a character Walnut is, they actually put a lot of detail into it, which is overall something that I really like about this plush. As well, MCC obviously put a lot of time into making it look as accurate as possible, even with the most simple characters. But yeah, this is one of the plushes in the set that I would definitely recommend getting if you can. Well, you could either find it on eBay and Mercari pretty easily. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the cattail. And just like the walnut plush that we just looked at, this one overall has a lot of detail to it. And while looking at this plush, I couldn't really find any inaccuracies about it, as well as basically a perfect plush. The leaf base on it overall looks really good, and it's around the exact same design as the sunflower's leaf base. And the head is overall really nicely shaped, and they even added some 3D details and embroidery to make it look nicer. And the nose is made out of a plastic material, so it could get chipped and damaged, but that's probably not going to happen because this is overall in a pretty weird place for it to get damaged. And the mouth is basically completely accurate and is really nicely embroidered on, and same thing with the eyes and the eyebrows. The only thing that would have been slightly better to do with the face is make the pupils slightly bigger on the cattail's eyes. And for the hat that the cattail's wearing, it overall looks really good, and they added a nice flap to it to make it look more 3D looking. And the ears on it overall look really accurate, and they're stitched really nicely so they can't really get damaged. And for the tail on this plush, it overall looks really good, except the tail could get understuffed over the years because it's a very small piece of plush material. But if you take good care of it, it probably won't get understuffed. But yeah, the actual cattail part overall looks really good, and it has a really nice red spike on the end of it, which could get understuffed over the years as well. But yeah, just like the walnut, this plush basically has all the details necessary, and they even added a few extra to make it look more accurate. And honestly, out of any other cattail plush, I would definitely say that this is the most accurate cattail plush to be made. But sadly, this plush is extremely rare, so if you want it, you could look on eBay or Mercari, but you have a very low chance of finding it. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, being the plant food pea shooter. Now, all this plushes is that when the pea shooter gets plant food in Plants vs. Zombies 2, it has a helmet on it, and that's what this plush is based off of. And for the leaf base on this plush is the exact same as the cattails and the sunflower's leaf base, and same thing with the stem, as it's basically the exact same and nicely stuffed as the sunflowers. And the head on this plush is overall extremely accurate and is really nicely shaped. And the embroidery on the face for the eyes and the lines under the eyes overall look really good, and they're basically extremely accurate. And the helmet on this plush is also extremely accurate. It has some pretty nice embroidery on it with the star, and the only really bad thing about it is that it could get unstitched from the head. And there's also a leaf on the back of the head on the pea shooter covered by the helmet. And the pea in the pea shooter's mouth could actually come out, and it's attached by a string, so it could get damaged over the years, and the string could get tangled. It'd even get cut off if you damage it enough. But yeah, overall this plush is really good, except it is pretty hard to get because there's a lot of bootlegs of it. So if you see this plush on Amazon, eBay, or Mercari, make sure to look at if it's not a stock image, because if it's a stock image, it's most likely a bootleg. And the bootlegs of these plushes overall look really accurate to the normal plush itself, except the one thing that is really bad about the bootlegs is that they could easily fall apart. So if you get this plush and it basically immediately falls apart, that means it's probably a bootleg. And another way to tell it's a bootleg is that the head is slightly darker green on the bootlegs, and the officially licensed version of the pea shooter has a lighter green head. So yeah, if you want the officially licensed version, look on eBay or Mercari, but if you see any stock images, don't buy it because it's most likely a bootleg. But yeah, which plush in this set is your favorite? Comment down below, and yeah, have a great day. MCC is a pretty well-known company that is officially licensed and makes Plants vs. Zombies plushes. And today we're going to be looking at a plush that's actually still in production that was made by them. So with that said, welcome to a look at the MCC Plants vs. Zombies Set 3 plush set. Now let's start off with the first plush in the set, which is the pea shooter. Now this is actually the third design of the pea shooter that MCC made, and in my opinion it's probably the worst. And well, there's a few reasons for that. First off, the leaf base is overall way too skinny. Like, for some reason the leaves are just not really that good looking, and well, they're just not really stuffed that much. And well, I think they should have made the leaf base just a little bigger and a little more detailed, just like the other pea shooters that they made. But yeah, the stem on the pea shooter is pretty good and is really nicely stuffed, so it can't really get bent and damaged. You know, the head shape as the pea shooter is basically the exact same as the other pea shooters they made. The main problem with the face though is that the eyes are overall really weird. Because well, for some reason on this design, the pea shooter, MCC made it so the eyes are just really far apart. And well, they're also facing opposite directions, so yeah, it overall just looks really strange, and the eyes on this plush kind of ruin it in my opinion. You know, the rest of the head of the pea shooter overall looks pretty good. It has a leaf on the back of it and it has a pea and a mouth that could come out, except the string attached to the pea could get damaged. But yeah, the main problems with this plush is that the eyes are really strange and the leaf base just looks really weird. So yeah, overall, out of the three designs of the pea shooter MCC made, this one's by far the most common, but it's also the weirdest looking. And well, if you want it, you can find it on most websites like AliExpress and eBay. And now let's move on to the next plush of the set, which is the sunflower pillow. Now this head of the sunflower is the exact same design as the normal sunflower plush from the last set that they made. And well, it's around the same size as the World Max sunflower pillow, so yeah, it's around the same size as that, and it also looks a lot different than any other sunflower pillow. As well, since they used the MCC design, it actually looks a lot more unique, and in my opinion, it makes the plush a lot better, because well, basically every other officially licensed sunflower pillow basically looks the same. But yeah, the embroidery on the eyes and the mouth overall look really good, and well, they're really nicely detailed, and they did a good job with it. Well, the petals on the sunflower are made of normal plush material, so they can't really get damaged over the years, but one of the strangest things about this plush is that on the back of it has a zipper, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because, well, I don't know why there'd be a zipper on the back of this pillow, especially because you could barely put anything in it. So yeah, that was a pretty strange decision from MCC to make, but besides that, the rest of the plush overall looks really good. And well, just like the pea shooter, if you want this plush, you could look on AliExpress or eBay as it's pretty common to find. And now let's move on to the next plush of the set, which is the cherry bomb. Now one thing that you'll notice about this cherry bomb plush is that it uses a very similar design to the Jazzwares cherry bomb. And well, I honestly think that this plush was probably based off of it because well, the designs are just so similar. So it's either that MCC based their cherry bomb plush off of Jazzwares, or PopCap gave them basically the exact same design art to base their plush off of. But yeah, in my opinion, this one's actually just a little more higher quality than the original Jazzwares one, and that's because, well, there's a lot more embroidery and stitching on it. Because as you'll notice by the faces, there's a lot of extra details on them and a lot of really small ones, and obviously just by the looks of it, it took a lot of time to make it look that accurate. Now, the stem overall looks pretty good, except for some reason the entire stem is green for some reason, even though it's supposed to be brown, but besides that, the rest of the plush overall looks really accurate. You know, but I actually really like this cherry bomb design. It's probably not the best cherry bomb design, but it still has a lot of details on it. And well, just like the other plushes that you can find it on eBay or AliExpress as well, but it's very common. And now let's move on to the next plush of the set, which is the snow pea. Now this plush uses basically the exact same design as the pea shooter, so it has basically the exact same problems. As well, it uses a very skinny looking leaf base and it doesn't really look that accurate. And well, it uses the exact same stem as the pea shooter, so that's one good thing about it. And well, I actually do like the head on the snow pea a little better as well, but it's just slightly more accurate because well, all the ice spikes on the back of it overall look really good. And well, honestly, this probably has the most detailed ice spikes on the back of the head of every snow pea plush. But once again, the thing that really ruins this plush is that the eyes are just looking the opposite direction and they're also really far apart. So it ends up making the snow pea look really weird and strange looking. It has a snow pea in the mouth, which is once again attached by the string, except the string could get damaged. And when you're looking for this plush, you might actually find this bootleg of it. And this bootleg is overall just really bad. As well, the leaf face is nowhere near accurate to how the snow pea is actually supposed to look, and the stem is just completely wrong as well. For some reason, the ring isn't even at the top of the stem. And the head on the snow pea overall looks really inaccurate, as it's a very dark blue color compared to the light blue color that MCC snow pea is actually supposed to be. And the head shape is overall just really squished down, and the pea is a complete wrong shape as well, but it's not really that much of a circle shape. And the eyes on this plush overall just look really inaccurate, especially because for some reason they have a little blue shine in it when it's obviously not supposed to be like that. And well, the leaf on the back of the head is also upside down for some reason. It is also the wrong color. And it's even weirder because Snoopy isn't even supposed to have a leaf on the back of the head. So yeah, it's overall just a really inaccurate plush. But yeah, if you want the official version of this plush, you could look on eBay or AliExpress, but make sure not to buy from any stock images as well. You'll probably get the bootleg. And now let's move on to the next plush set, which is the Sun Shroom. Now the Sun Shroom is basically the exact same as the last Sun Shroom design made by MCC, except that the eyes are just a little weirder looking. And well, the head's also just slightly wider, so yeah, besides that, it's basically the exact same design. In my opinion, this design's actually a downgrade to the last one. As well, in my opinion, the last design of the MCC Sun Shroom was just a lot more detailed and looked a lot more accurate. So yeah, in my opinion, the Sun Shroom plush is just a very bad version of the last one, and what was basically just, once again, an exact copy of the World Max one. So yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend getting this plush as well. The World Max version is just a lot better detailed and well, just looks a lot better in my opinion. But yeah, if you still want this plush, you can look on eBay or AliExpress. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Fume Shroom. Now this one's actually extremely detailed and it uses a unique design compared to the last Fume Shroom that MCC made, which is basically an exact copy of the World Max one. As though this one actually uses a complete unique face and it actually looks a lot more accurate than the last design of the Fume Shroom that they made. And the cap on the Fume Shroom overall looks really good and it has a bunch of nice light purple spots which are overall very accurate to how it looks in the game. And the face on this plush overall looks a lot more accurate to the Plants vs. Zombies 2 design than the original as well. There's a lot more detail on it and it's just embroidered really nicely. And in my opinion, this is probably the most accurate Fume Shroom plush to ever be made. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting this Fume Shroom plush, and if you want it, you could look on eBay or AliExpress. And now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Squash. And this probably has to be one of the weirdest squash plushes that I've ever seen as well. For some reason, the details on the face overall look really weird. And the main reason for that is that for some reason the eyes are looking to the right instead of just looking straight like basically every other squash plush. And but I honestly don't know why they made the eyes like that as well, but it doesn't really look that good in my opinion. And for the rest of the squash plush, in my opinion, the squash shape, it just isn't as good as the last design of it. As well, I feel like there's not a lot of definition and detail on it with like all the stitching and stuff. So yeah, in my opinion, it just doesn't really look that good. The stem on the top of it is overall pretty accurate, but it has a bunch of lumps on it, which basically looks the exact same as the last one. But yeah, the main reason why this plush just doesn't really look that good is that probably the face is just really weird. But yeah, if you want this plush, you can look on eBay or AliExpress and it's very common. And let's move on to the next plush set, which is the Plant Food Pea Shooter. And this probably has to be the laziest plush in the whole set as well, but it's by far the easiest to make. As well, all they did is take a pea shooter plush and embroider some lines under the eyes and give it a hat. As well, every single detail on this plush is the exact same as the pea shooter, and if you took the hat off and the lines, it would look exactly the same as well, but they used the exact same pattern as the normal pea shooter. But yeah, for the extra details that they added, the lines under the eyes overall look really weird because once again, they're just really far apart because the eyes are. And the army hat on this plush overall looks really good and it is basically the exact same army hat as the last Plant Food Pea Shooter MCC made. And the army hat's pretty nicely embroidered on, so unless if you kind of rip it off purposely, it can't really fall off. But yeah, overall this plush is pretty good, except the only really bad things about it is the exact same thing as the normal Pea Shooter, being the eyes and the leaf base. And there's also a bootleg of this plush which is overall really low quality and basically falls apart instantly. And the head shape's all wrong, and for some reason the eyes on this one somehow look worse, and basically every single detail's low quality about it. And I'm pretty sure the same company that made the Snoopy bootleg made this bootleg, because they overall look very similar and have very low quality designs. But yeah, if you want the official version of this plush, look on eBay or AliExpress, but don't buy any stock images as well, it'll most likely be a bootleg. Now next up we have the Zorro Pea. Now this is the newest plush that MCC made, and it was actually released just this year. And this plush is overall pretty simple as well, but uses the exact same design as the normal pea shooter plush, except it has a hat and a face mask. And overall the face mask and the hat seem to be nicely stitched onto the plush, and it can't really fall off. And just like the normal pea shooter, the stem is stuffed really well, so it can't really get damaged over the years. And this plush will actually be pretty hard to get as well, since it just was released. It's only available at one place, being the Plants vs. Zombies flagship store. which means that the majority of people won't be able to get it because, well, that's only in China. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait to see if it goes on like eBay in a little bit. But for now, the only way that you can get this plush is that if you live in China. But yeah, overall, this plush looks really good and Whelp is overall really nice quality. But yeah, which plush is your favorite? Comment that down below and yeah, have a great day.